Welcome to Euroboys. We are here. If you can watching us from YouTube,
God.
you know where we are. We're in Austin, Texas, and we're at Terry Black's Barbecue, which is an iconic stop in Texas. We just had meat, good old Texas meat.
Yeah.
By God Almighty, that was fine meat. They say, "Hey, honey, you want a little brisket?" And I'm like, "Oh, I want a little brisket." As soon as we got here, there's a sign outside that says "Brisket is king," and we were just in Las Vegas. Forget Elvis. This is Brisket Town.
Yeah. This is the only royalty the Americans will accept.
I know.
They got rid of the British. It's either Prince Charles or Brisket. I don't know what I choose.
Yeah. 2 days ago, we're like, "Viva Las Vegas." This is Elvis Town. We're long gone from Texas Town, and I do be doing this voice all the time now.
Yeah, it's very irritating. But
I think it's quite a good Texas.
Is it?
I sure hope so, boy.
I do declare.
Yeah. We've been listening to country radio. Welcome to 107.2 classic Texas country for all you lonesome drivers out there. This one's for you. And then it's just a country song about the road being lonely. I love it.
And the road do be lonely.
The road do be lonely.
We're doing this together, so we're not that alone. And you
I
called
wish I was alone.
Can I just say you called our podcast Euroboys?
Yeah.
This is it. We have a name.
We have a name.
How many episodes in? I can't tell you.
I don't know. I don't even know what the order of the episodes is going to be.
But we have a name.
We have a name.
Euroboys.
Yeah.
The Euroboys.
And then it was,
we need the jingle.
how are we going to spell it?
We need the jingle.
Yeah. The jingle's probably TJ yelling, Euroboys.
Yeah. So we are calling Euroboys, proper Euroboys, EUROBOYS, Euroboys.
Yeah.
Classic.
And this meat, by the way, this was fantastic.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
I'm not a foodie person at all. I don't understand meats, but
You don't understand meat.
like this is, this is.
What do you mean you don't understand meat?
I don't understand. Like, I'm not like this has been smoked for whatever amount of days, But you get here and you're like, oh, this is like slavery meat, like.
Yeah.
This is like rough history meat, and be like, that's some good meat.
Yeah, has the whole race been subjugated for these flavors? That's why Indians also have good food.
Yeah, but not to this level.
Not at this level. No. Because they were royal subjects, not slaves.
That's right.
That's what the Indians miss. The Indians miss some good old slavery, and their food would have been the best.
Well, because India's got passed around.
Yeah. So sorry, India. Your history ain't that dramatic.
Why do we talk about colonization in every single episode?
You do that. I don't. That's your thing.
Yeah, I do that. I do be doing that. Lord, I be doing that.
You be doing that.
So this is our first day in Texas, and we have just been in Vegas for Skankfest, obviously. Not
Unpaid.
obviously, you might not know that. If you don't know what Skankfest is it's essentially a festival organized by Louis J. Gomez, Big J. Okerson, who have a podcast, a very popular podcast called Legion of Skanks, and they just put on a festival. Like, it is insane to see like a podcast becoming so big that they put on a festival. It's 3 days. It was
5,000 people.
Yeah, 180 comedians. I mean, we saw we were at the fucking strip club with Bert Kreischer.
Yes, we went to the strip club with Bert Kreischer. I saw Ari Shafir take a shit on stage. This is what comedy is nowadays. I think we need to tell people. I don't know if you know Ari Shafir. He's a comedian who's done a show on Netflix called Jew, because he's a Jew, not an anti-Semite. Can you imagine if it was him for an hour just talking shit about the Jews?
But it is him for an hour talking shit about the Jews.
But he's a Jew, so he's
from
allowed.
the Jewish perspective.
Yeah. And Ari Shafir, this is what we watched. We watched Kill Tony, and we saw Ari Shafir go on stage, put a finger up his butthole, bring out a piece of paper from his butthole that said, "My new Netflix special is coming out January the 6th. And then he pissed on that piece of paper, and then he took a shit on the stage upon announcing his Netflix special.
Yeah.
This is
And
this is the and he was high
great
on mushrooms.
cock for a Jew.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have to be. You can't be naked on stage with a tiny dick.
I know.
And he was doing. He must have been high on mushrooms or something. I don't know what he was, but he was on stage.
Everybody was high on mushrooms.
Everybody
at the
was
festival.
so
Like,
high.
Everybody was high all the time. Like the gift bag is literally drugs.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally,
Legal.
yeah, literally drugs.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to be a part of it. I mean, we're the only Euro boys out there,
Yeah, the only ones
the only Europeans, and people really don't give a shit
that
if
don't
you're
give a
European
fuck.
here. Like, we go, people ask us, like, oh, where are you from? We're like, Portugal and Greece. They're like, all right, good for y'all.
Yeah, that's a good accent. You finally nailed it.
Yeah, good for y'all.
They
Well,
know
you
that
have fun.
you might as well have told them you're from the city next door. Like they just couldn't give
I
a
know,
fuck.
we should have said Connecticut.
But I think
But-
it's because they don't know anything about Greece and Portugal.
Yeah,
I mean, they know a lot of things about Greece, but Portugal, they're like, what the fuck is this?
yeah.
You got very annoyed, didn't you? Because the taxi driver told you that Portugal is a part of Brazil, which is a joke of yours.
Yeah. But just so on Vegas, like it was madness.
It
Like
is.
I mean, everybody was there. You know, that green room was insane. Every day you would just see.
I met
know.
Shane Gillis.
Yeah, you met Shane Gillis.
I met Mark
Great
Normand.
guy. Yeah, Mark was there.
Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer was there. Joe
Um,
List. TJ obviously.
TJ Miller, we had him. Andy Lederman was there.
Annie Letterman. Tim Dillon.
Tim Dillon, yeah.
It was
Tony Hinchcliffe, I met from
yeah,
Kill Tony.
yeah.
It was amazing. And everybody was shit-faced and no one cared about you or anything.
No, everybody was just hammered.
Yeah.
It was a festival for comedians and for the audience of their podcast. So it was there was just no industry, whatever. People were just hammered. Every day the after party was at the local strip club. And the first night we went, we met the manager, a guy called Joy, ironically, because he does bring a lot of joy. And every day you'd rock up to the festival at about midnight
With
before
like-
the shuttle buses would get the artists
Yeah.
to the strip club. And then
He'd bring 5
he'd
strippers
bring,
with him.
Yeah, an army of strippers.
He was
and-
walking around with an army of strippers going, what's the next show? I'm like, Joy, you and I need to hang out more.
Yeah.
How you
They-
met,
they-
you met the girls? Meet the girls.
They love strip clubs.
Yeah.
They drop cash at strip clubs, There is something about America where like money seems to be less. Like the other day, we were out for dinner, and George, I had to give money to George, and I was like, oh, here's $100. And he's like, I don't have change. And I was like, it's fine, just get me later. And I'm like, there's no way I would ever give you 100 euros.
Which is, and it's pretty much
It's
one
the
for
same.
one. It's one
the
for
same.
one.
Like I was just like, there's never a chance I'd give someone 100 euros, be like, yeah, just get me, 40 euros. Just get me later. It just does seem that money has no value almost.
But also, it means everything.
Yeah. They're completely obsessed with money, but they just drop cash all the time.
Yeah. It is.
And it's cool. I like it. I mean, at the strip club, everybody, people getting bottles. It was cool to like be a part of it, but everyone's getting lap dances and stuff. But I'm like, the strippers are like coming to talk to us. I'm not paying.
Yeah. Even though you can afford to give me $100, you're not giving the stripper 20.
Well, the stripper. So here's the thing with the strippers as well. They had lots of strippers, right? Some were like thick, big boobs, big tits, whatever. Some were classic stripper, fake. Some were real pretty. And there was one. Do you wanna tell this story, George? There was one stripper. She was very pretty.
Yeah, very pretty. And
Her name was Jade, and by the way, that's not her stripper name.
Yeah,
the stripper name was Envision.
And she gave us her real name, and then we went to the secret area where the comedians were
Yeah,
for
there's
the
a lot
party.
of back rooms.
Yeah, so we went to one of the back rooms, and André started talking to the stripper. Let me tell you something, right? André was talking to the stripper, and I couldn't tell if she was there for their money or if she was flirting back. I couldn't tell. She was laughing a lot, but that's what they were supposed to do. Like I realized
But
this.
you were right next to me. I was on good form.
No, but you were for a while. You were at a distance, so all I could see was you two talking, and she was laughing, and I was thinking he's a funny boy, but she's here for the money.
Yeah.
And strippers, I think,
It's
when
two
they go-
professionals essentially battling.
Yeah. Yeah. And
A
when
professional comedian and a stripper, they're going like, it's tit for tat.
yeah, because I reckon when if
These strippers are, by the way, they're like the fucking headliners of the world. Like, you're a stripper in Vegas, you know, you're at the top.
yeah, and I think when you go to stripper school, if it exists, the
I
first
think stripper school is not going to school.
yeah. Whoever gives them tips on how to be a good stripper, there must be one of the guidelines, which is laugh at every one of his jokes.
Yes. of
Because
course.
men want nothing more than this. I don't know if you heard about this. They say women say, "I want a man that can make me laugh." That's a good sense of humor. And men said, "I want a woman with a good sense of humor." And they go, "What's that?" Is someone who laughs at my jokes.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Right? That is, men think you only have a good sense of humor if you laugh at this person's jokes.
Yeah.
And these strippers have an excellent sense of humor.
So essentially-
excellent. So she was laughing, and I didn't know what was happening. But then you came closer to me, and then she kept talking to you, and I'm like, "Oh, this is on." And then you could tell she was like, "Are you going to pay me for my time?" And they were like, "No, I am
it
not
was like-
paying you for your." Let me tell you this. Let me tell you what I watched. Are you going to pay? She was chatting to you. You were, and I'm like, these two are flirting. I'm pretty sure they're real flirting. And then
But it's hard to know.
Yeah, it's hard to know because at the one point she goes, "Do you want to dance?" And I think that was her testing him, because if you go to dance, you're a customer forever. And she was like, "Do you want to dance?" And you were like, "Are you giving me a dance?" And I'm like, "That motherfucker is on fire." And then she goes, "No, I give you a dance." And you said, "No, but how much do you charge?" And she goes, $600 for a half hour.
Yeah, but you have to buy a bottle.
Yeah, $600 for a half hour. And André says, "I'm not paying you that." And she said, "But I've spent so much time with you." And André said, "I thought you were having a nice time, were you not?" She goes, "Yeah, I am." And then the conversation turned because André said, she goes, "Here's my Instagram." And he says, "Your stripper Instagram?" She goes, "No, my real Instagram." And it was very funny because you tried to put the Instagram on your phone, but because you have severe anxiety, you have blocked Instagram from your phone, so you don't get anxious looking at other people's success. So when she goes, "Here's the Instagram," and you put on your notes, she goes, "Why the notes?" And you had been so cool so far. It was very difficult to go, "Oh yeah, so I have anxiety."
No, yeah. But I didn't say that. I was like,
No.
I just don't think social media is healthy. I want to be present, so I have it blocked on my phone.
And she went,
And
"That
she
is
went-
so cool."
Yeah, and then
and
she
I was
goes-
thinking, she's got severe anxiety actually, but that's a great excuse.
And then she went, "Here's my number.
Yeah.
Text me later." And I could look at George, and George was like sitting down next to me, being like, "I've just seen it."
I witnessed greatness.
Yeah.
I witnessed greatness.
And so she gave me her number, and George was like, "You're."
And then no.
You're pulling the impossible here.
No. She gives him, everything you did that night was like nothing but net. Because she gave you her number, and then she goes, "Let me see this. I think I put it wrong." She corrects the number, so she gives you the absolute correct number.
Yeah, texted
and
me.
texted you
Yeah.
through her, like a Apple Watch phone that she had on here the entire. Like, imagine giving someone a lap dance and checking your text at the same time on your watch. And then she texted you from her phone that was like connected to your watch. And then you said, "Hey, before you go, here's this." And then you gave her $100.
I think
And
I
then
gave her-
you thought you gave her $20. But I was like, this idiot gave her $100. So like, you gave her money? You're like, "Yeah, for her time." Like $100? And you went, "What? It wasn't 20?" Like, no, it was not.
I'm pretty sure it was 20 still.
It wasn't.
I am sure, because I don't think I had 100 on me.
It was 100. You gave her 100. You've been
So-
giving
so-
$100
so which-
to everybody.
So which is either like the most stupid move ever or the most baller move ever?
It's baller.
Because I was like, "Here's some money," and I didn't even
You
have
didn't
a
get dance. Yeah, that is like, I don't need the dance. Here's the money.
Yeah.
And then
And then in the morning, I texted her. She had texted me, and I replied, and I was kind of, because she texted me in the morning, and it was really, we were pretty hungover, and I was like, "What is this?" And I'd forgotten about it, sort of. And then I texted her, and then we're like, "Yeah, let's link up. I'm in town for 1 more days, one more day, whatever it was at that time." And then she goes, "Yeah, tomorrow I could meet, but I have to get organized because I've got 3 kids and no babysitter. And I was like, what? Like, what? How old are you? She's like, I'm 25. She's 25. She was beautiful. 3 kids, single mom. And all of a sudden, I'm like, this is ruined for me. Because I thought I was going to have sex with a Las Vegas stripper for free, right? Because of my amazing skills as a charmer. And then all of a sudden, I'm just meeting up with a single mother in the middle of Nevada. You know? That's not a holiday story. That's like getting pulled into a family situation that I don't want to be a part of. You know, I don't want to be like meeting up with her. She goes, oh, come meet up with me. She goes, my kids are here, but, you know, I just, you know, they can hang out in another room. And I'm like, you know, I don't know, I wouldn't, I just didn't want that. I don't want to be like the kids next door one day telling a story. It's like, and I remember this guy came along. He came to the house.
Mommy used to bring men around all the time.
It was Monday. We should have been in school. Because she was like, I've got 3 kids and no babysitter. And I'm like, shouldn't they be in school? It's
No, because
Monday.
she's 25. The kids are like 3 and 4 or something. She made, by the way, before you feel bad about her, she made $5,000 that night.
That's right. She made $5,000 because I was like, well, what are you doing Sunday night, you know? Could we maybe, she's like, are you working? She's like, oh, it's a big night. You know, I can't really afford to miss it. And I was like, yeah, but, you know, how much do you make? Is it less than $100?
And she said, Saturday night, I made $5,000.
$5,000. And I was like, damn, I should have asked you for a dance. I was like,
They're
had I
killing
known, I would have been flirting with you.
People are making crazy money all around us in America.
Yeah.
Like,
There's just, you do feel in America, it's like,
cash rules
with-
everything around me.
with all of, with everything that we're like, oh, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, just the ease in which your life could change is like nothing I've ever seen before. It's like, you do get this sense that your life could change in 2 days.
Yeah. You meet the right
You meet the right
people.
people, you have the right
Yeah.
set in front of the right people, it's like everything could shift. Like,
Yeah.
it probably won't, because everybody believes in the same idea that everything could change. It probably won't, but it might. And you believe that, and there's just so much money flying around. Like, you know, I was like, oh, you know, I had a good weekend in this country. You know, I made 600 euros, and they're like, that's not 2 hours of my time. Like, people, it's just so much money around.
And we're here fighting for like $300.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They, like, it just feels like everybody.
Well, I'd be fighting for 100 had I known.
Yeah, yeah. It is wild. But everybody's trying to chase the dreams. Like, we were out in the Las Vegas in one of the strips, and it was 1 a.m. and there was children like singing, rapping
on a
rapping.
Thursday, 3 in the morning, 3 a.m. There's a kid, 6 years old, 7 years old, rapping with her parents.
With your parents.
And you'd be like, oh, Venmo me, you know, Cash App me. And he was like, you should be in school.
Well, not now, in 6 hours.
Yeah.
She's doing. She's having a nap, a power nap.
Having a side. But Vegas does deliver on its promise of being Vegas. Like,
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Is
We had so much expectations. You know, we drove around from, you know, went to from California, got the Mustang, convertible Mustang, drove to the Grand Canyon, through Arizona, got to see some real America. And then we got to Las Vegas, and obviously the expectations are really high. And it was exactly that. It's like lights, money all the time, like straight hustle.
It does make you feel like money is irrelevant. I think the big swindle, the big trick Texas pools, the big trick Vegas pools is making you feel money is just a number. Because when you arrive, you're thinking I'm broke, but then you're walking around and the streets are shining, everybody's singing, there's music everywhere, it's overwhelming, lights, and then you're thinking, what is money?
Yeah.
Here's $100.
Well, also, it's like they've made a great job at marketing, because they're like, oh, you come to Vegas and you lose money.
Yeah. They're like, well,
and you're happy to lose money. You're like,
take
it's
my
Vegas.
money. Take my money. It is amazing. And we did some cool stuff, right? We did helicopter rides.
Yeah, we did a helicopter ride over Las Vegas. That was pretty cool. That was
was
awesome. I've never been in a
that was
helicopter
my birthday
before.
present to you.
Yeah, that was your birthday present to me. I mean, you were also there.
Yeah, I paid for myself also.
Yeah.
I paid for myself.
And he gave me the good seat. And we went over the Sphere, Trump Tower. The whole time I just kept thinking, this feels like we're in the beginning of The Apprentice. You know the theme song when he goes, money, money, money. And it's just like
Trump Tower
getting into a helicopter, landing at Trump Tower. And I was like, that's, it was pretty cool.
How did you feel about the helicopter rides?
It was awesome.
I was so stoned.
Yeah, we were crazy high.
I was so high.
On some of that gift bag.
And then I just, the edibles kicked in 20 minutes before the flight took off. And I remember every time the helicopter would like turn, I'd be like, oh, because I'm scared of flying as well.
But you were pretty chill.
Oh yeah, but inside I was like, I was both high and scared at the same time.
And it's amazing with the helicopter, they just land.
Yeah.
There's no wheels, so the guy's sparking.
Yeah, but it's crazy because when he landed at the airport, then he was 5 meters off the ground, and then he just drove straight alongside the road.
Yeah, but you could
for
see
2 minutes.
Buck was his name. He was like, I've done this 12,000 times.
Yeah.
He had material.
Yeah, he had jokes.
He goes, we would go in, people are like, he's like, is it your first time? People go, yeah, it's my first time. He goes, me too. And then he gets a laugh, and we just kind of look at each other and be like, oh, that's a tried and tested stuff.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
You know what it is. And then he told us, he was like, yeah, I've flown around a lot of famous comedians, and they say that's the thing. You get a joke that works, and then you just do it. And we're like, yeah, that is a thing that I think comedians do.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because the people that were with us is like two couples.
Two of us.
Like one of them on their honeymoon, clearly, because it was this lady. She was Spanish. She didn't speak any English.
Colombian.
Didn't speak any English. So I had to speak to her on behalf of the pilot when he was giving instructions. And then she had like a dress on. She looked like she was going to prom and high heels. And he was like, you could see that this was like their honeymoon. She was like taking photos of everything. There's another couple, and then just me and George talking to Buck.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you want a photo? Because they take photos of everybody getting into the helicopter. So there was like two couples like kissing and hugging, and then they're like, all right, guys, get in there. And there's this photo of just us next to each other.
We took the most heterosexual photograph you can imagine.
Yeah.
But also we were super high. I didn't know how to stand.
No, I didn't know either. But it was awesome. It was a great experience.
And then Monday night?
We did the convertible Mustang through Route 66, helicopter ride.
Bellagio?
I got to dream but which, by the way, I didn't hook up with the stripper. I didn't. The kids thing, it made me sad. It ruined it a little bit for me. So I didn't hook up with the stripper, but for a few hours there, I was living the dream because I was like, man, if I'd pull this off, and to a degree, I did.
Yeah, very impressive. We won the Bellagio. This is when you know the difference between rich and poor, because we lived the rich life, and then we went to the Bellagio, and on the way out, they charged us $180 incidentals, and out of which they charged us $25 per bottle of water that we drank.
Oh, yeah. We had 3 bottles of water that we thought were in the room, just complimentary water, as you get normally.
I got the upgrade at the Bellagio.
Dude, we were balling on water.
Yeah.
We didn't know, but we were drinking water like we could. $24 per bottle of water.
This is crazy.
We were out there being hydrated like motherfuckers.
Yeah, but this is how you know you're poor, deep down.
Bitch, you want a little bit of Fiji? Come here. And he's like, you see the rappers dropping Moet? You go like, I'm not there yet, but I'm like, you want some water?
This is how you know this is how you know you're poor, because when we saw that money, we were like, oh no. This has been a terrible financial decision.
I know. I could have just had tap water the whole time at the Bellagio. We had a pool meal because we were like, we just arrived, so we wanted to go chill for a bit. We had 2 burgers, a cocktail. It was $200.
No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, that between the waters, that and the waters, next thing you know, like we're checking out, they blocked $200 out of the credit card for incidentals. They're like, you owe us another 200. They're like, what? How? And they're like, resort fee, this tax, city tax, whatever. And I was just kind of like, what? Like, and annoyingly, we have a friend of a friend who's very rich, and he goes, I gamble at these hotels all the time, so they give me comps, hotel rooms. If you texted me, I could have gotten you a room. And you know, I went to his house. It was like this fucking sick penthouse. And on Saturday night, I went to meet him. We went to the Wynn, and he gambled 30 grand in 20 minutes. And then he was like, all right, let me drop you off at the strip club. I was with a friend of his, and he goes, then I'll come and meet you. So we get in his Rolls Royce, in his SUV Rolls Royce that he just bought, and he goes, check out the middle, and there's a fridge with not Fiji water, champagne.
Actual champagne.
Moet champagne inside the fridge at the Rolls Royce, and then he drops me off at the strip club, and I have never felt more like a baller in my life. All the comedians getting out of the shuttle buses, and I'm getting out of the back of a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, like a whore.
I know. Maybe that's when Jade saw me, just like, oh, this is worth investing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and so...
or maybe that's when you were thinking, I am ready to drop $100 on a stripper tonight.
Can't tell me nothing. Every day I'm hustling. Yeah, it was really fun. It was insane to be a part of that festival. And America, it makes you... And also, there's some really great news that I got a few days ago, which is my visa, my artist visa for America has been approved.
I think you said that in the Grand Canyon, didn't you?
Did I?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I just want to reiterate it, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, his visa got approved. He's very excited.
I am excited, but I'm also scared. This is, I can't be dropping this kind of cash.
It costs $7,500 to get the process done.
I know.
And do you have that money?
Maybe I'll go strip for a couple nights.
Yeah, that's right. You can make $500.
You'll be like, maybe I'll get Jade to work a couple nights for me. Yeah, but she was like, it was funny. I was talking to her. She's like, yeah, I'm from Vegas, never really left America. The amount of people that have never left America, the amount of people that don't have passports.
They don't have passports.
They're like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting a passport soon. And we're like, wow, that's crazy.
There was a guy in a taxi that he told us that he grew up in Anchorage, Alaska. And then he moved to New Mexico. André asked him why it's called New Mexico. And he didn't know that America fought Mexico, and that's how they got the territory.
Yeah, you explain it to him.
I explained to him. I explained to him his own history. And then his wife is Dominican. And we said, have you been to the Dominican Republic? And he went, no. Do your kids speak Spanish? And he said, the 5-year-old speaks some Spanish. But every time he speaks, we laugh a lot. I'm like, why are you making fun of a 5-year-old trying to learn his mother's language?
Yeah. Because he was like, I was on Duolingo for a couple of years. I got some done, but, not much. And we're just like, wow, this is... and
he's the typical American.
And he was like, he's from Alaska. And he goes, in Alaska, it's oil land, so the residents of Alaska get profits from the oil. Every resident of Alaska gets about $2,000 a year or something.
More.
Or, yeah, for the oil. And we said, oh, that's very socialist of you. And he goes, what?
Yeah, he was very offended. Because apparently Alaska gave permission to the drilling companies to drill as long as they shared the profits with the residents of Alaska. And then we said, wow, that sounds like Norway. This is very socialist.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, what do you care if it's socialist? It's just a nice thing the government is doing. Like,
that's socialism.
That's socialism.
And you could see that, like, his brain was freezing. He was like, I'm against socialism. And I was like, do you like the money that you get from Alaska by being a resident? He goes, yeah. Well, you're a socialist. He goes,
yeah. I didn't like that.
He was like, this is entrapment.
And he also complained how the Medicare isn't very good and it needs to be better, which is another socialist policy. Yeah. So he was saying we need better Medicare, I love money that is generated by corporations sharing the local wealth. And then he told us how great is Trump.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think you understand what you're voting for.
Yeah, we drove through a lot of Trump land for sure in Arizona. And by the way,
By the way, we can't say much about Trump because we are in Texas.
Well, but Austin is the liberal capital.
Yeah, but still, it's Texas.
It is Texas. And we're in the middle of a very famous restaurant. So there's people all around us in tables.
Having meat.
And we're just recording a podcast. And it's like, this is the worst live audience ever. Because it's like, it's like people watching us, but they're like, who the fuck are they? Or what are they doing?
We could be famous.
It's fair. But the Bellagio.
I'm doing some. I think we're having quite a baller time because, like, what do you mean? Who are they? I'll tell you who we are. London, LA. Drove through the deserts in an open-top convertible. Went to Vegas. Did some shows. We're in Austin checking it out tonight.
Did some
I am
unpaid shows.
taking a flight to London for 1 day
for immigration purposes.
to do a show. I'm doing a show in London for 1 day. And then I'm going to be back to Austin for 5 days to continue my holiday. Who the fuck am I? Goddamn right, you guessed it. I'm a star. Now,
we did sleep at a Best Western Plus last night, which is
we shared a double bed,
like a travel lodge or some basic hotel. You know, let's go easy on the star. You know, we've had a couple of waters.
Yeah, but we had a great time, and it is important. Like, it is easy to travel, easier than people think. How many minutes are we in?
32.
32 minutes. Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Let's hope they think the same.
This is. I understand why people say that traveling really tests relationships. Because
this could be a painful segment, isn't it?
Because I have to wait until actually my visa gets stamped to tell this story.
Yeah, wait. But it is a good story.
It is a good story.
André's getting very annoyed at me.
Yeah,
all the time.
I'm very on edge.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm very on edge. But it is. We're also balling because we're splitting the balling 2 ways.
Yeah, it is cheaper when you're a couple.
Yeah. No, it is. No. We're like, this is the thing. It's like, well, if we get anything nice, it's like we split it. And when I say anything nice, I mean, we're not. I mean basic nice.
Yeah. We split the Bellagio.
Yeah.
We split
it. Yeah. I guess so.
The weirdest thing is I got a girlfriend back home who's just on her own going, well, my boyfriend and his boyfriend are having a nice time sleeping together.
Do you know how many people know you now? They go from my Instagram.
Really?
Have you had that?
No.
Have you been with me and be like, oh yeah, the Greek guy from your Instagram.
Oh yeah, the Greek guy from your Instagram. Little do they know.
Dude,
I know the cum noises you make. This is how close we are. I've heard André come with women and on his own. This is
because when you're in small places together, someone's got to be the alpha, and I am prison rules the whole way. I'm like,
well, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, you're lucky, because otherwise I would have fucked you.
Yeah, it's been very fun doing together. And I have been thinking about how, we live in the future. We have 100 years ago, this had been impossible to do, But now we are flying everywhere within 2 hours. It's very cheap. We saw fucking robots in Los Angeles deliver food.
Yeah, this sounds like the conversation you were having when you were really high. We live in the future, dude. And 100 years ago, this would have been impossible. It's yes, that is the future.
It is. It is. It is more affordable than you think, for sure, to do so many of these things.
No, yeah, to travel, so actually, you spend money on living, but flights, cars, all of these things, it's cheap anywhere you do it. Traveling isn't hard. It's just then the things you want to do once you're anywhere.
Yeah.
That's why it's like people always say, "Oh, Asia, like the flight is so expensive," but it's the other way around. So you could fly to America or Europe real cheap, but then when you're there, you spend a lot of money. Asia's the other way around. You just get your flight and you're balling. Dude, in Asia, can you imagine how much water we could afford?
Yeah, but it will give you the shits.
Well,
Although Fiji,
that's the price of balling.
dude, how crazy is the Western civilization that we've gone to Fiji, the most remotest islands. Out of any islands, Fiji is clearly one of the most remote islands. And we said we want your water to travel 10,000 kilometers to our shores to drink. And we will charge people more than you make in an entire month.
That's right.
For that one bottle.
The people of Fiji can't afford Fiji.
No. People of Fiji cannot afford Fiji. And I wonder if they have the same kind of socialism that America has.
Yeah.
This is the most Western thing ever. To go to a...
We should go and record a podcast in the Fijis and then just be like, yeah, just tap water for us.
The people in Fiji, like it's an island, it must have a finite amount of like still spring water. And we're going there and we're draining the water from an island. So they have to bring in
But I don't know if Fiji water's made in Fiji. It could just be
Yeah, it is
marketing.
in Fiji. Fiji water must be in Fiji. If Fiji water is in Bali, this would be insane. I need to look this up. You talk for a second.
Okay. I'll talk. Yeah, so we got to Texas now. It's funny, we got to this restaurant, Iconic. We were like, can we record a podcast here? And they're like, oh, for sure. And they were like, they even gave George a t-shirt. George is happily wearing the merch. I've got one too, but I forgot to put it on.
Fiji water is bottled in the Yakara Valley on the island of Viti Levu in Fiji and South Pacific Archipelago. So 100% of this water is in an island. Fiji are probably importing water from the Scottish Highlands to survive. Like Fiji water is taking water from Fiji, and Nestle are coming in, going, "Would you like some water?"
Do you think there's like maybe like a local brewery, a local water brewery?
I hear you're thirsty. Have you considered Nestle? What's Nestle? Is it spring water? No, it's distilled tap. But wait, I have a...
But for you, it's either this or the shits.
I have a well behind the well is drained. There's some guy in Vegas getting charged your monthly salary to drink it.
I mean, shout out to all our Fijian fans.
Yeah, big up to Fiji. What's
Big up
the
to
average salary Fiji?
What is the average salary in Fiji?
USD. The minimum wage in Fiji is $92 a week.
Wow, that's
That's
4 bottles of water.
This is
And
this is
Fiji's very hot. You
crazy.
gotta stay hydrated.
This is crazy. In order to drink a bottle of Fiji, in Fiji, you have
gotta
to
work
work
for
11 hours
Yeah.
for water. And this is the epitome of what's wrong with the world. We live in the
Yeah.
future.
Well,
and the future is Fiji.
You know how many people from Fiji probably work at the Fiji factory, earning minimum wage?
Yeah, but it really doesn't translate
like-
to my pockets.
What are the perks? Man, I get water with 20% off.
This is wild. We live in a wild world.
I do feel it is a baller move to just go on your rider and be like, I want Fiji water exclusively. At what point in your career do you think? Because I've had this, where like, I've had.
But you
a couple
pay from your
times-
rider.
Yeah, yeah. It comes out. Everything comes out of your pocket always. Nothing's free. But at what point? Because I've had a couple times where they ask me what my rider is, and I've always felt like I'm not in a point in my career to really go out and ball on my rider. So I'm like, oh, some water, some fruit, couple of beers, that'll be nice. They're like, yeah, great. And then one time I was on tour and I was like, yeah, let me get a bottle of gin in each of the stops. And I didn't have any of that. I had like maybe one glass. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is such a waste of gin. And I'm like, I was getting annoyed at how much gin was being wasted. I couldn't stop thinking about all this gin I'm paying for and I'm not getting. But at one point in your career, you just kind of forget about that. It's like, at what point in your career do you think you're worthy of like a decent rider? And what is a decent rider?
I don't know.
What's your dream rider?
My dream rider?
By the way, rider.
Rider is the drinks and food, anything you want provided for you in the green room before the show.
As well as like any technical specs. So there's like these famous stories of the bands, rock bands having these crazy riders. For example, like the Guns N' Roses or Rolling Stones wanting a bowl of M&Ms, but no brown ones, right? And people think they're being eccentric, but actually the reason why they do that is because the technical setup is so intense that when they get to the end, if they've done the M&Ms, it's because they've done everything else right. So they've done the sound, they've done the tech stuff. So they kind of use that to test the venues, which is really smart. I always just thought they were dicks.
They're definitely racist. They will have taken the green ones out. Like, no, when dark-skinned ones, get rid of them.
Yeah, they'll pop out.
My rider would be, do you know Mariah Carey had a rider for only white flowers in the room?
Yeah, well, Mick Jagger, Rolling Stones, they had to build a thing for them to run, like a field behind their trailer, for them to run.
Really?
Like a marathon.
Well, to burn off the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that during a concert. I'm going for a run.
Imagine being like, "Oh, you want me to play? Build a field behind my trailer."
And they were like, "Yeah, absolutely."
For sure, absolutely.
My rider would be a cheesecake, but with the cheese removed.
So a cake.
A cake, but I want the cake from a cheesecake.
So you want someone to scrape it off?
I want someone, because I know they've done all the other things.
What were the other things?
Just put the microphone on the stand, good sound. That's it.
Wow.
Very high demands.
What a star.
Yeah. I would also have like maybe, what do I have? Freshly squeezed orange juice.
That's your dream rider, like you.
Because
could get
it is a big hassle for people to freshly squeezed orange.
Are you kidding me? You could buy
a carton.
You could buy a machine on Amazon for like 20.
Yeah,
20
I want them to get me that. When I was little, I used to dream of all you can drink orange, because my parents were like, couldn't be bothered squeezing oranges forever. So they told me, if you have too much orange juice, it's bad for your blood. It dilutes.
I've been told that too.
It dilutes your blood or something.
Yeah, I've been told that too.
So I always had a limit of orange juice I could drink, like with just a glass. But I remember thinking, I wish I could just drink freshly squeezed orange juice until I couldn't drink no more. And I would ask for that. My childhood dream to be achieved. Freshly squeezed orange juice, all you can drink.
Dare to dream is
Yeah.
what they say. Here in the land of opportunity. Yeah. You'd be like, boy, I'm just a boy from a small town in Greece, and all I want is as much orange juice as I could have.
I just want me some orange juice.
You go, wow.
But make sure, I don't want anything from any carton.
Yeah.
I want it freshly squeezed.
Wow.
Y'all got any freshly squeezed orange juice?
We've talked about dreams, and I always respect how achievable your dreams are, because it doesn't take that much for you to be happy.
Yeah. And you are never happy.
Never.
Never happy.
You're the opposite. You're always happy.
Yeah. Even when I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Which is rough.
And you've told me something that other people have said, where you go, we hang on, you goes, you give me your anxiety.
Yeah, you give it your anxiety. But it is, you have to recognize where you come from, you know. We are very lucky. Very lucky. And I don't think sometimes I think you forget, which is weird because you have a tattoo that says appreciate everything, and you sometimes don't.
It says expect nothing, appreciate everything. But,
And it's the opposite.
You know, it's the opposite, in fact.
He expects everything, appreciates nothing.
Yes.
But I really do feel like it's important because
We should
we
have gotten
are
one of those beers. There's a beer with the Texas star on it called Native Texas or something.
And I'm very thirsty. We appreciate.
We're such hack tourists, by the way.
We are.
Everything we've done is so touristy and hack. The convertible, the Ukrainian, let's get the signs, let's put on country fucking radio. We are the definite, like, if we saw the equivalent of us in our countries, we would make fun of us.
Yeah, but I think Americans like it because they
Yeah,
are
yeah, it's
they
true.
are they are the hackiest of tourists.
Yeah, they love when we, it's also like when we do comedy,
Yeah,
they love when you play to America, like it's an honor to be here. You
yeah,
know,
they love it.
It's an honor to be here because, as we know, everyone in the world wants to live in America.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone.
Everyone in Amsterdam would like to live in America.
That is, if you're a loyal listener, the previous episode with TJ Miller. If you're not a loyal listener, we had TJ Miller in the previous episode. Or the next one.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, well, who do we have on that? Yeah.
But look, we are hack tourists. We're enjoying this. And it's, you have to do I don't understand this. People go, oh, that's such a touristy thing. Yes.
I am a tourist.
I am a tourist. I'm going to go to your best places.
Yeah,
What's that go to the park?
that's right. I want to see what has been sold to me
Yeah.
in the movies.
Yeah, 100%. I want
You
all of
know?
that. I want. I
Like
want
we're
to
going
experience
to
everything.
Compton to be like, wow, this is where fucking whatever got shot.
Yeah, I'm never going to Compton. I don't know why you insist on going to Compton.
I would like to go to Compton.
You would not survive a minute in Compton. What would those
But if
people-
I did, I'd be like, look at us, straight out of Compton.
Oh, you're the worst.
But yeah, so it is really interesting that as well when you play to the audiences here. It's very different to playing to European audiences, even British audiences, because the basic level of sort of knowledge of geography, history is different. So here you're playing to the room all the time. It's like, hey, listen, we're just some immigrants, and it's good to be here. Great to be in America. We love America, man. I've been wanting to come to America for years.
Yeah, it is. But they're really Americans. I can see why Americans love America, because
Yeah, you said this before.
Yeah, I really think that. I can see it. I can see this is.
Well, I was on the plane.
Fucking great.
So, which, by the way, we were on the same plane. And when we were leaving Vegas, I told George, hurry up. We got to get to the airport. And he goes, it's a domestic flight. How long is it going to take? He's like, you got to check in your bag. And he's like, chill, whatever. We get to the airport, print the tag. He's in the queue. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go across just in case I need to hold off the people. I'm waiting to get on. George's like, I'm missing the flight.
I missed the flight.
You missed the flight.
André was right. I should have hurried. I missed the flight.
I missed the flight.
It wasn't a great time.
I landed in Austin 3 or 4 hours before I had to wait in a gas station for George to come. I was waiting on a subway until it closed. You know how sad it is to be like, sir, you gotta go? And I'm like, I'm not one of those. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep on the street. They're like, we're closing. And I'm like, I'm waiting for my friend. They're like, we're closing, sir. Please don't get aggressive. I'm like, no, I'm not aggressive. I was just explaining.
They told you you're getting aggressive?
No. I was.
Or are you making it up?
I'm making the aggressive part up. Yeah. But they were like, you gotta go. And I'm like, I'm waiting for my friend. They're like, sir, we're closing. And it's, when the lights go out on a subway, it's real sad.
Yeah. And it's very. Well, but you have to tell them I'm not homeless. I am sharing a motel room with my friend.
Yeah.
Who's landing very soon.
Yeah, who missed his flight. And so, and when I landed, I heard this. It was a Mexican guy talking to this other guy. They're speaking in Spanish.
Mexico.
And he was from Texas, and the guy was telling him he's doing a trip across America, and he's been to California. And the guy from Texas was going, "Oh wow, how is California?" You know, and the guy's like, oh, it's just like the movies, you know. And then I went to Las Vegas. The guy's like, wow, I'd love to go. And I'm like, oh, I was there in all those places this week, and this guy who's lived here, it's a 3-hour flight.
Yeah. I booked
never gone.
it on the day, and it cost £200 exactly.
It is crazy because it's very easy to go.
£200 to
just
book on the day.
But
On the day.
People just don't travel.
Yeah. And we,
I think people make up traveling to be a bigger thing than it.
Yeah, for sure.
They think it's very complicated. Like, I know my parents, they get very nervous about it. You know, like my dad, if he's traveling, he's like packing 2 weeks before.
My friend told me that he can't come to England on a 3-day notice because he needs time to mentally prepare. And then I don't know what you mean.
Well, you know, we've lived in England long enough to be like, I do know what you mean by mentally prepare.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough place. It's a lot of rain. But he was like, yeah, I have to mentally prepare.
This is so nice, though, isn't it? Like, just the good weather. Like, we were driving with the top down, getting a tan. You know, we were in California. You know, you're leaving the comedy club at 1 a.m. Some guy's getting in, like, a Corvette that he's bought for $5,000, like, convertible. And we're like, why do we live in places that have bad weather?
Yeah.
And he's like, I tell people all the time, you know, you could leave. And then I'm like, I could leave. You could just be anywhere.
And we are anywhere. But it is, you know...
But it's like you're much happier in the sun.
Yeah. I think, well, not you. You'll forever be unhappy. But the pill, if the pills start working...
But less so, more so in the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, I am... I think also I'm very... you need to be grateful, you know, and recognize where you are and where you come from. Like, I don't know if I told you this, but like I'm the only one in my family to have done this type of traveling, and you too, right?
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
like
for sure.
You know, going back to my family, like 2 generations. My dad quit school at elementary school. He was working full time. My mom's grandma was killed by a ram gutting her.
A ram, like a goat.
Like, yeah, a goat. Like
your grandma was killed by a goat.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's a bit funny now, I guess. but in the 50s,
because 2 generations ago, my grandma is like, yeah, no, I do understand why. You know, if you told anyone in America, they'd be like, man, I'm sure you're happy to be here. Because they're like 2 generations ago, you're like, my grandma was killed by a ram.
My grandma was up in the mountains, had goats and sheep and stuff like that. And there was one particular goat that everybody knew was a naughty goat. And they were like, watch out for this one. He's an asshole. My great grandma was like, I'll be all right. And then she went in the goat pen one day, and this goat charged her, put the fucking horns in her gut, gutted her, and she died on the spot. That's my mom's grandma. My mom has never met her grandma. Because she died because a ram gutted her.
What happened to the ram?
I don't know. Do you eat it afterwards? Do you eat it out of spite?
Yeah. Do you just kill it to show the other rams?
The ramifications. Thank you.
The ramifications.
But it's true. There will be ramifications.
Gotta show the rams who's ram.